What's up, guys? Casey and George back with another episode of Going Bracket Racing Live, which comes to you every single Tuesday at 5 Eastern, 4 Central Time. We always got to thank those partners we have, those marketing partners that allow this to come to you for free on YouTube, Facebook. We're live over there. And then if you can't be with us live, we're on every single place you can find your podcast, as far as I'm aware. If we're not in every single place, let me know where you want to hear it, and we'll put it over there too. But we got to thank TSR Racing Products for your Power Glides, Turbo 350s, Turbo 400, and 727 transmission parts, accessories, and full transmissions if you need them. Don't forget those manuals, man. If you don't have the money to buy a brand new one, you can always fix it yourself, man. Those manuals are just as big as a Haynes manual, and they are just as thorough. That's where I learned how to assemble all those transmissions, man. So definitely give All Wheel a call over there and get you one in the mail. BRG 3D printed parts, anything you need, Brian Garrett can print it up for you. High density plastics and polymers, anything that doesn't have a mount. They got all these accessories now inside your race car. If they don't make a mount for it yet, Brian Garrett will make it for you. Syntex Printing out there in Temple, Texas for your shirts, stickers, brochures, anything you need for your business. On and on and on. Flags, banners. I could tell you even more stuff, George, but I think we'll just move on to the next one, which is Driven Racing Oil. Best oil to use with methanol burning engines, hands down. You don't have to worry about it milking that oil up. Use the code GBR10, get yourself 10% off. And I had Mac McLean ask me this earlier, George. I want to mention this. We always say it's for the oil, but anything on their website, use that code GBR10. They got cleaning products. They got brake clean. They got all kinds of stuff. GBR10 works for everything over there. Mac said they got transmission fluid. That's what he was asking about. Works on that as well. Anything that you order from them, GBR10 gets you 10% off your order. Proform Parts. Visit proformparts.com for your carburetors, alternators, distributors, radiators, starters, much, much more. Tools. The tools are really where it's at, man. I got a whole bucket load full of those. Anything you need to assemble a motor. And nobody has those AN wrenches, man. Don't screw up those fittings. Get you a set of those AN wrenches, man. They work great. I was just taking my transmission out earlier this weekend, actually, and I used that number 6 wrench. Got it right up in there. It's worked a whole lot better than using those normal Craftsmans, I can tell you that. And, of course, Crew Chief Pro software. It's that time of year, man. The weather's real hot, starting to cool off a little bit. Hopefully, the good Lord willing, it'll cool off a little bit. And I can tell you right now, Don Higgins got you in order over there. Visit crewchiefpro.com. Get your dial-ins. Or if you need a weather station to even know what's going on, he's got them too. So visit crewchiefpro.com to get yourself in order. George, that being said, what have you been up to?
Nothing.
Kids
going back to
Very
school.
Interesting.
That's getting up about an hour earlier. You know, it's that time of year where a whole hour just of sleep just goes bye-bye. And so I'm experiencing that right now and trying to get myself back in the groove of actually having to wake up at 6:10. I know you, Casey, you know you're up at 5 in the morning every morning anyway, so that ain't gonna be no problem for you. Well, it's a problem for me. I like my sleep. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's pretty much it, man. Otherwise I've been just hanging out, getting old Mo put back together. Got the rack getting cut up over by a guy out there outside of Dallas. I'll get his information here, and seems to be doing quite a bit of work over in this area, so we'll probably most likely try to shout him out quite a bit more. Pretty good fabricator, chassis work, 4-link, back half, whatever you name it, he builds it. So we'll get some more information out on him here before too long. He charged me an interesting price tag for my rack to be cut and fit towards my car. So I'll tell you offline what I had to pay him, Casey.
Man, I've just literally been for about the past, I don't know, maybe an hour or so. I'm just trying to peer pressure Doug Foley on the Going Bracket Racing Facebook page into entering that 2-seat dragster into the OG Million, because I think it would be the most epic thing ever. I don't think anybody would ever forget about it. I don't care if you lose first round and buy back and lose again. No one's ever going to forget a 2-seat dragster being in the OG Million. So I don't know how many likes we need to convince Doug Foley to do that, but I think if we got enough likes, maybe we could pass a hat around and all have a good I mean, what if he did good, man? I could see Foley going pretty deep with that, to be honest with you.
Honestly, I can too. I mean, it's going to take care of business. I don't know how consistent it is, but I'm sure if he was to take it big money bracket racing, well, it'd be pretty doggone consistent when he showed up with it in the first place, you know? Just one of those racers that knows quite a bit about what he's doing. It's got a pretty good operation. I don't care if it's a two-seater or not. I don't care if he has a passenger in there with some walkie-talkies to tell him, hey, man, you way ahead. You better lift. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter. I think he'd do pretty good in it. That would be fun to watch, to say the least. Like I'm saying, somebody throw him a free entry just to do it. Man, just enter the car. That one car, shoot, get him out there. I want to see that.
Rick Cummins was commenting on that post. He said AJ Ash evidently has done that before.
Oh, really?
I guess he's driven a two-seater car before in a bracket race. So I mean, to be honest with you, once I heard it, it doesn't really surprise me. But it's not like it hadn't been done before. But I can assure you, it hadn't been done in the OG Million before. And like I said, that would be interesting. So
Yeah,
maybe we'll see something. Even if we see it at a local race, it'd be awesome. Like I just want to see it on Motor Mania TV.
yeah.
That's what I want to see.
It would be even better, you know, just to give away as a spectacle, give away to a spectator a ride down the track. Of course, you got to sign all the disclaimers and stuff, but that'd be pretty neat. Let's have a drawing for you to go down the track, even if it's just an exhibition ride, you know. But yeah, bracket racing, man. There's a little plastic bushing that goes inside of your rack, and it kind of holds everything stable. Well, mine blew out of there and exited somewhere because I never found it. And now every time I try to move my wheel, it just wobbles on me. So I ordered a new one from old Flaming River and had to cut the tie rod ends off of it. They were male instead of female, and get that all fit back up there, and hopefully have all my alignment right where it needs to be. Otherwise, I'm gonna have some steering fun. But here nor there, I'm not too worried about it. I got my old guys helping me out over here with the Going Bracket Racing team, and we'll get that old heat back together, to use a John Force term.
Yeah, man. It's that time of year, man. There's a whole lot of racing to be done also. So it's the perfect time of year. If you have to miss out, it's a good time to miss out in the middle of the year whenever it's about 1,000,000 degrees outside. I can tell you that because this weekend it was hot where I went to. I actually ended up getting a wild hair. I went to Wayne County on Friday night, and then I ended up going to Galot on Saturday, and got my butt kicked third round. Barry Sasser ended up being 28 on me, foot braking, and I was dead one and nowhere to be found. So that tells you how bad I was on the tree. But long story short, I ended up going to Galot the following day. They had what I thought was a really good program, and I think a lot of the other people thought it was a great program also. I hope that they do something more like similar. This wasn't their normal $5,000 to win top, and I think it's $2,000 to win foot brake. It was actually 3 and 1,500. But what was cool about it is to double enter top to win 3,000. It was $115 to double enter. I don't know what the buyback was on that because I was running foot brake this weekend, but it was $1,500 to win in foot brake, and it was $75 to double enter, only $25 for a buyback. So in foot brake, worst case scenario, you spend $125, man. And as far as I heard, everybody was extremely happy with how the event was ran. There was a decent amount of cars there. At the same time, there was a double points race at Kinston this late in the year. You know, if you're anywhere in points, you're going to go there. You know, it was just kind of a deal that popped up out of nowhere. I know Matt said that he called Bobby over at Kinston. He's like, man, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to go on top, because a lot of the tracks try to work together because they're real close over here. And, you know, no hard feelings anywhere in there. But I was at Galot because it was closer to my house, and I love the way the program was ran. I've heard nothing but good things about it. It's actually affordable. That's something we preach on the Going Bracket Racing YouTube channel. There's all of these, you know, there's, you know, the Spring Fling Series, there's the Great American Series, there's TB, there's SFG. If you want a big money bracket race, there's plenty of options to do that. You know, our local racing, maybe a place like Galot, since we have a lot of those big money guys in this area, it, in my opinion, is a place that you should do maybe a couple 10-granders a year or something. Maybe a big foot brake race also. Loose rockers out here. There's plenty of big money bracket racing to be done. If you want to run a couple 10-granders, that's cool, but I feel like local racing should be something more along these lines where you can afford to go out and race and not spend $500. You can spend like $200. You know what I mean? Like, and these are just generic numbers, but I'm just saying 200 is a lot different than spending 500 for a lot of people.
Yeah, I think we've talked about this once before too, Casey, and yeah, I wouldn't know what episode since we're well into the hundreds on episodes now, so I couldn't just call out episode 25 or whatever it was that we would have talked about this. But using the local bracket racing area, number one, we keep bracket racing, drag racing at the height of where it is in any area. Number one, that's number one. Even going back to the spectator thoughts from last week. But then number two, you're getting the ability at the price point that you're talking about to be able to wrench on your stuff to make it capable to run the TBs, the SFGs, the spring flings, the things of that nature. Because let's be honest, as we have always said in probably every episode, it's all going to amount to seat time anyway. So being able to go out and double in or foot brake for $50 $75, I'm probably even shooting high right now, you know. But to be able to do that, you're getting, number one, a lot of data on your machine, but number two, you're getting yourself into a groove, which is very important as well. So I really hope you do see quite a bit more of those lower entries, lower entry amount cost, lower entry cost in high participation. Just get a lot of runs on your vehicle, and it's going to come in handy, man. So that's pretty neat. We don't have anything like that around here yet. I say that because I feel like that's going to spread a little bit.
Yeah, man, I think so. And I got to shout out my buddy, Lil Red. You'll see him in the chat every once in a while, Little Nasty Red. And, man, he put a whooping on me this weekend, I can tell you that. I ended up lining up with him first round. He made me buy back first round. He's 15 on me and dead on. It's something like that. And then all of a sudden I pull up at 14 cars, and who do I got to run? My buddy Justin again. Oh, and between all this, George, he comes and sits in my trailer, breaks my chair.
Oh, man.
He broke my chair. He fell through the chair to the ground. It's hilarious.
I wish. Dang it.
Man, that's what he said. So that Galata actually had some people running around doing some social media for the track this weekend. And we were saying, man, you guys were here a little bit late, because I remember him he looks at me and he goes, I think this chair ripped, boom, through the chair all the way to the floor. But anyway, so we roll back around here. We're at 14 cars, and I'm looking and I'm like, I think I'm getting ready to run Justin. And I go up in here and I'm like, I count back. I said, well, it's me and you. Well, I go up there. Justin lays a perfect light on me in foot brake, and I'm red, but still, I had no shot anyway. I guess it was a good time to be red, because he was getting ready to whoop me right there, and then ends up, of course, that was at 7 cars, so that's the bye to the semis. He goes to the semis, runs Thurman Warren in the semis. Thurman's red on him. So Justin ends up with a runner-up to David Sears. Sears, one of the best foot brake racers out here. Very, very, very nice Mustang also, and running low 70s in the worst air of the entire year. I think the air, we're in North Carolina, Georgia, air ain't supposed to be 4,400 feet.
Yeah, well, that's true. Yeah.
David Sears is out there with, I think he told me it was a 427 Ford motor, obviously in a Mustang, foot braking, running 570s, low 570s at that. So, I mean, that thing's getting after it.
Getting after it. Yeah, no question about it, man. It's getting after it. So, no, man, it's going to be pretty interesting weekend, I think. We got TB coming up. That's where we will stop first over at old TB Promotions. And, I mean, I can flash the flyer back across the stream for you guys, but we've been flashing it across the stream for a little while. Killcare, the 25, 50, 25 with a warm-up race to go along with it. I'm pretty sure it's sold out, so if you missed it, you missed it. Gave you plenty of heads up to get into this program here. So, Casey, man, talk to me about what you feel and what's going to happen this week at old TB Promotions Killcare race.
Well, I'll tell you what I think's cool about this Killcare race is that TB's always got some sort of little cool thing going on that they're always trying. What was it? A couple last year they did the Mulligan race. I want to say their earlier race this year, they had something kind of interesting going on, but They ended up having their Thursday warm up, which is still 10 grand to win. It's not like this is all you win, but so it's 10 grand to win, 3 grand to runner up, 1,000 to semi, 500 250, $150 entry fee. That all sounds good. That's a good race already. On top of it, if you win this race, so it's going to get split. A lot of stuff always gets split, things like that. But what's cool about this TB race is that the winner gets a gold card to all TB races for 2024, man. And that's a good chunk of change to win on top of a 10 grander potentially. So, I mean, I just think it's cool that TB always is reaching for the stars kind of this type of stuff and just throwing in little cool things like that.
He's doing a great job, him and Brian, of keeping everybody honest, if you want me to be technical. Having a different style of show, I'm not one to be picky with my bracket racing, I'll go to the local track, I'll venture off to a big money race here and there, and I know what I'm looking for. It doesn't matter to me if there's anything different, but you do have that customer base that does want something different from each said promoter. SFG is not quite the same as TB. TB is not quite the same as the Great American Boys. Great American isn't the same as the Fling Boys. There's a difference in between, what we really got going on. And that's always going to be, seemingly, it's always in the front of Tyler and Brian's mind. And giving out a gold card for the whole year, you're right, man. That's worth the price of admission right there alone. And you can see why they sold out the event. Again, I don't think they've had an event so far that hadn't been sold out, if you want me to be honest. If I'm right. I can't confirm that, but I can't remember one that wasn't sold out.
Yeah, man. Well, how are you not going to sell it out? 375 top old entries to run for, I think it's $699 entry fee, a 25, a 50, and a 25. And you'll notice these TB races pay back a lot better, in my opinion.
Right.
And especially in that Midwest area. Brian and Tyler have filled a void that's been needed in that Midwest area for a very long time, because seemingly for the longest time, other than, maybe in Ohio, there's a couple, and obviously there's a couple big races, but the majority of all the mega money racing is on the East Coast or the very far South.
That's right.
And that's a long way whenever you're talking about spending an entry fee, plus you got to get there, plus you got to pay diesel fuel and stay there for the week and take off all week, et cetera, et cetera. Well, those Midwest boys, they're showing Brian and Tyler that they really appreciate the fact that they're putting this in their area where maybe they only have to take off half the week now.
Right. Yeah, you're right, too, because they go from Kentucky to St. Louis to Ohio, so they're kind of making that nice old path upward, kind of straight through the Midwest. And, it's awesome. I almost wish, man, you guys just need to move to Texas. I have a feeling Texas is going to be on the map pretty heavy next year, so pay attention before you do. With big things probably coming out of Gleghorn, I'm expecting him and Flicker Promotions to kind of get together and do a little bit more around Texas. So keep your ears open. I see it coming. They didn't tell me anything, but this is just me kind of trying to use my telepathic capabilities that I thought you all knew I already had. So.
Bracket Racer 1 over here in the chat saying they have good giveaways also. That's true, man. I just actually pulled the flyer up while you were talking there, and it looks like Go Lithium's giving them a best overall package, gets a new battery and charger for that deal. They're doing an MVP award out there, which is always cool. The MVP award's one of the coolest awards that there is out there. I mean, even if it's just a painted helmet that's used as a trophy or whatever, Hoosier Tires giving away some slicks. That's always what's really cool. I think all of these major events that are multiple days, I've always thought should have an MVP award anyway, because sometimes it's not, but a lot of times you can clearly see who the MVP is. Like, for example, that SFG race in Michigan, Shane Carr, clearly the MVP, and it's just a cool award just to have one more thing to give away. Because when you're talking about giving away this much money for the winners, you really don't care about $1,000 more, you know?
It's a true statement. Another thing I really like about this one here is I saw somewhere a listing of who all would be on the property. And Hoosier's going to be there, and Abruzzi's going to be there, and Fuel Tech's going to be there. There's just going to be people all over the place that if you need something while you're there, you're probably going to find somebody who's going to be able to give it to you. You know, that's one thing I do like, that they kind of got their marketing row, if you want to call it technical there. So always a good perk. So we might as well keep moving along with this particular race, Casey, but we're going to do that right after this commercial break. It's a good time for us to get the commercial out there, show our marketing partners some love. Please don't go anywhere. Make sure to like and share. Invite your buddies in, because we're getting ready to get off into some power ranking, and I'm sure you don't want to miss that. Don't go anywhere.
TSR Racing Products has everything you need to make your Power Glide Turbo 350, Turbo 400, and 727 transmissions the best they can be on the street or at the track. With exceptional products, customer service, and over 30 years of experience, TSR Racing Products is always available to help their customers with any of their transmission needs. In-house machining ensures you only receive the best products from TSR Racing. Visit TSR Racing Products at tsr-racing.com or give them a call at 800-394-5889.
BRG Motorsports 3D printed racing parts are able to provide you with whatever you desire to enhance your drag racing operation. Items like safety belt magnets, nitrous bottle holders, and even quick release delay box mounts are able to be obtained from BRG Motorsports 3D printed racing parts. Have a look at top selling items such as helmet hooks and steering wheel hooks, which are proven to make it easier to maneuver throughout your race car. You can contact BRG Motorsports 3D printed racing parts at telephone number 765-729-1177.
Unleash your horsepower with Proform Super Street aluminum roller rockers. Utilize the latest cutting-edge manufacturing and design processes. The dual contoured body design allows for more rigidity with a greater strength-to-weight ratio, increasing engine power. Super Street aluminum roller rockers are available for a variety of applications and specs for Chevy, GM, and Ford, including pedestal mount, as well as a Chrysler shaft mount style rockers. On the strip or the street, Proform has you covered.
All right. Welcome back, Going Bracket Racing community. Thanks to everybody out there, marketing partners, for always helping us kind of keep the lights on here at GBR, giving as much as we can back to you guys as we can. We'll continue to work on that, getting discounts and things of that nature pushed out towards you guys. Can't do it though without the Proforms and the BRGs and the TSRs and the KJPs with Ken Jones Performance, Driven Racing Oils, and the Crew Chief Pros, we can call you CCP, Crew Chief Pro, Syntex Printing, and that old Team 14 Motorsports. You know, we can't thank you guys enough for backing us here at the Going Bracket Racing community. Make sure you reach out to that sign right there that says your ad here. Those guys are really good as well. They do a good job with customer service, putting your needs ahead of their own needs. So give them a call at 1-800-GOING BRACKET RACING. Anyway, Casey, let's get off into a power ranking, man. Let's do it. We hadn't done a power ranking in a long time. I'm pretty excited. I'm glad you came up with the idea to do a power ranking today, because it's just great for it.
Yeah, man. You want to go first or you want to go second?
Well, I feel like you always try to make me go first. If we was to go back, just so happen to go back into the Going Bracket Racing archives, I think I've gone first every single time.
I'm just being courteous.
That's not courtesy. That's you just trying to wait to see what type of... I'm going first. I don't even care. I got my whole... This is probably the only time I'm going bracket racing that you'll ever see a white piece of paper in front of me. Unless we have a guest, sometimes I'll have something. But I'm going right off the rip. I don't care what nobody says. It's not any particular order for me right now, okay? I'm going with Garrett Griffith.
That's a good pick.
Now, why did George pick Garrett Griffith? Man, he frequents that track, number one. I feel like he might even be from that area. And every single time I watch Killcare, or whatever you want to call it, Xenia, Warrior Princess, I don't know. I don't even know how to spell Xenia. I think it starts with an X. But every time I watch a race at Killcare, This old boy Garrett Griffith in that blue truck just mowing people down. And you know I'm a door truck rule person in the first place. So I'm taking Garrett Griffith to be very difficult to beat on Kilcare's racetrack this week. That's my first pick.
I agree. Drag Racer 4809 just asked, didn't Griffith win a big race there the other day? I'm pretty sure that he did. I'm pretty sure he won some race that maybe they had canceled the day prior, and they doubled it up, and he ended up winning like 60 grand or something that day. So definitely a good pick. But I put mine in order, George. I put mine in order. I went out of my way here.
It took a long time. You can call mine order too. Go ahead and call it order. I'm looking at it here. It's pretty close. Go ahead.
So this is a guy that I think is the perfect match for Garrett Griffith, because I'm pretty sure Griffith is a foot breaker as well. Taylor Bowling. Taylor Bowling, man, has been on fire. You can't bet against him this year. Absolutely on fire this year, especially in the bottom bulb world. Earlier this year, in fact, TB's races, as far as that's concerned, that 100K shootout, that remember he got twice as many cars.
Yep.
Tyler Bryan got twice as many cars, and then they put it all back in the purse more. Well, Taylor runnered up that race, I want to say. I think that he runnered up the Jake Summer Door Car shootout in I-57. He runnered up Beach Bend 10Ks, I'm pretty sure. He won the WFC, the most prestigious race that foot breakers have out there, the OG Million of foot brake. He won that race. I mean, that's why, for sure, Taylor Bowling is my number one pick for sure for this race.
It's actually a great pick. I saw the name on there, and I just couldn't pull the trigger. I'm honest with you. I saw the name on there. I don't know if it's me saying, well, maybe he's going to flame out. But obviously this year, if you had that thought about him, he's made you wrong each time with the resume that he's put up this year. So definitely a very good pick coming out.
And some of the runs he's thrown down make you want to say, Nick who?
You heard that here. It wasn't me, though. That's all I got to tell you. Man. Wasn't me. You see old Casey in the lanes, Nick. You pull up on him. If you see me, I gave you a free pass here, okay? Not, but I think everybody knows that as well, Casey, what you just mentioned there. There's just kind of almost like a new sheriff in town for this year, to say the least. That's all I got for you, you know. Great pick, man. I'm going number 2. I don't care what he's driving. Haven't seen him in a long time, though. That's why I got him on this list. It's not necessarily a power ranking as in he's been destroying it this year. It's a power ranking as he will destroy you any year. Scott Lemon is entered into this race, and I haven't seen that name on the racetrack, seemingly, unless I'm just doing something wrong here. Normally, I watch just about everything. Casey, you can correct me, or guys in the chat, correct me if I'm wrong. I haven't seen Scott Lemon in the mix in a long time.
I think he might have just completed that's Drag Race Results, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he just got done with what he's calling the double vision dragsters. He just got those put together. So I think he's been racing them for a couple months now. But I watched those, you know, he on dragraceresults.com. He has his own feed and everything on showing how they're being built and everything. The best equipment. Definitely a good pick. But I mean, there's a reason why he owns Drag Race Results. You know, he knows what he's doing.
Man, all I know is it's a great time for him to come out too. Haven't seen him in a long time. He's automatically on my power ranking. And then number 2, seems to me like whenever you come out with a new piece of equipment, I don't care what it is, you generally wax something if it's going right. You're gonna win some rounds if everything is kind of working the way you expected it to. Well, with the Lemon family and Scott and all of them, number 1, he's a Cardinals fan, so he's definitely on my you the man list. You know what I'm saying? But having the ability, you know, to come out with a new piece of equipment and then have your background in bracket racing as you already have, I expect pretty big things out of Scott Lemon this week. Who you got number 2, Casey?
My number 2 was real close to being my number 1, man, but my number 2 is going to be Will Holloman. And obviously, you know, Will's always going to be a threat to win any race that he's entered in. Especially now that that's legitimately what he does, is just race for a living, things like that. Driving the Bear Motorsports dragster. I saw him testing this weekend at Galat. He changed like 4 converters over the course of 5 runs or something like that. It's 110-degree real feel outside. Like me and Justin were sitting in front of my fans being like, man, it's hot out there. Will's out here working in the sunlight, changing all these converters and getting back up. He showed me some time slips. And I want to say he made a run and then came back, and this is a dragster, but still changed the converter, was back in the lanes and on the track again in like 30 minutes.
Wow.
So, I mean, but he made each run. He showed me all these time slips to show me the difference in between this converter did this did this did this. Well, I noticed in all those time slips that over those 5 runs, his worst light was a 12, and none of them were red. Now, there were 2 of them that were 001. One was 007 that I can remember. And I'm sitting here, I'm like, dude, you're changing literally the most important thing to the car reacting, and you're still not varying reaction time, really. So that's why Will Holloman is always at the top of my list, man, is because at the end of the day, he's just one of the best ones there is out there. I've always thought that, there are people out there that just go dominate events. They either win the event or they suck. And Will is either going to win the event or he's going to be in the split. Right. And that's how you always know who's a good racer, is somebody who's consistently deep. I feel like that dude's always in the split. And if he's at a 5-day race, he's always in one of the finals, it seems like.
Yeah, man. I'm going to do this real quick. Shout out Travis Kissinger. Shout out Russell Dow, Kevin Grider, Mac McLean in here. I haven't been ignoring you. We just been getting into it. Jimmy Noble's over here, over off the Facebook side, man. Shout out, welcome in. I have to back you up, Casey, on Will Holloman. And if you want my reason, just go back into the archives of GBR and pull up the Will Holloman episode where he tells you verbatim, I will change whatever part in my car at whatever point that I want to, and be able to go out and do the same thing that I just did. So Casey, he's not just telling you the time slip said that. That's what Will Holloman says he does in the first place. He don't like how something ran, oh, he'll change the tranny and come back out, and it don't matter if it's the 5th round. He's got something for it. Well, the man tests, tears it down, puts it back together, tests, and still comes up with the same result. That is a recipe for success.
Exactly, man. And it's kind of like Randall Blinson actually is the one who told me this whenever I was messing with my white car when I very first got it together, and I was he was parked next to me. Randall's one of the original like big money bracket racers out here. Randall's won a lot of races, and still to this day does very well whenever he shows up. I think he might be getting old, man, and just feeling like, hey, I don't want to race whenever it's hot outside or something. But I asked Randall, I said, man, I'm having issues with this car. I'm in the middle of the race. What should I do? And he's like, well, in my opinion, you're a sitting duck right now, right? You might look your way through a couple more rounds, but you're not going to win the race if it's not working right. So you need to just change it. And that's the theory that Will works off of too. I mean, at the end of the day, you go to win the race. You don't go there to hope for the best, because anymore, maybe back in the day you could get lucky. Anymore, you can only be lucky for so long. There's very, very few people who luck their way into winning races anymore.
Definitely a true statement, Casey. Definitely. So your choice there for Will Holloman, and I almost pulled the trigger on Chris Bear. I just didn't, because I saw both their names, and I was going to take whoever was in the gray and black door truck. So I didn't take neither one of them just because I couldn't figure out which one was going to be in the door truck. Taking nothing from their abilities inside of a dragster, a digger, whatever you want to call it, a long rail, a dart, a yard dart, whatever you want to call them. I don't take anything from their abilities in any one of those cars. I am just partial to old door trucks. That's just me. Everybody here knows that. But coming in number 3, if you watch our power rankings, I'm going to pick this guy on every single race that he comes to, simply because I watched him make, over the course of a weekend, maybe 60 or 70 runs. I'm talking about Matt Dattis. Okay, he's had all kinds of luck at the TB Promotions races in the first place. I think he's close to home, being up there in Xenia. I'm not 100% sure. I think he's in that area. But why would I pick Matt Dattis? I'll let you answer that question. I don't need to give Matt Daddis's resume for why he would be number 3 on my power ranking. Casey, what do you think about that pick? Casey, I lose you? Hang on here, fellas. We got a little something going on. I think I'm still live. Let me see what's going on with Casey. I know he's had a storm coming through, and he may be experiencing the old storm. So I'm going to cut you back into my screen. Give me a 1 on the Facebook or in the chat if you can still hear and see me. I know Casey's having a storm roll through old North Carolina, though. Again, I guess I'll just be talking at you guys until old Casey gets back here. Matt Daddis. Any objections as to why Matt Daddis is on this list? Casey's coming back now here, I think. Hold on, I can't hear him.
I had a huge thunder crack outside, and all of a sudden you froze up. So that doesn't surprise me. I mean, it's dark out here, man. I wish you guys could see this. It's raining sideways right now. It almost looks like in southern Illinois, George. Remember what it looks like when it's green outside? It's about to tornado. It's what we always called it.
Oh, shoot.
And
that storm got tigers in it?
I might. I don't know. It doesn't look good out there, man. But we're on pick number 3, right?
Pick number 3. I just took
I know you got Daddis.
What's up, Casey Pesnell,
Yep.
man? I didn't see your name on that list. Otherwise, you might would have made this top 10 ranking. I don't know, Mr. Pesnell, but I didn't see you heading up there. Casey, I took Daddis. I took Daddis number 3.
All right. My number 3 pick's going to be Steve Law, man. Steve Law is one of those guys, again, that's always consistently deep in all the races. I don't know if Steve Law could be a placeholder for Luedke. I know Josh Luedke runs for Law Automotive a whole bunch. Either way, whichever one of them's in the car, that Law Automotive car is always going to be deep in there. But, dude, Steve Law's been branching out a lot more recently. This is in his Midwest area. Great racer from the area. And seemingly every time he shows up, he's going to end up deep in the rounds. Again, especially if that's a placeholder for Luedke. I looked through the list forever for Josh Luedke, and I didn't see him. So there is a possibility that this is the case, or maybe he just wasn't on the list yet. Brian said that this isn't necessarily everybody that's on there yet, but he gave us like 190 entries or something like that to pick from. And either way, Steve Law or Josh Luedke, I don't care which one of them's in the car. They're my number 3.
Yeah, and you haven't been wrong at that pick, Casey. I mean, I think I want to go back to Kentucky when we done this type of a power ranking. Might have been the last TB race where we pulled out a power ranking, and you took I think you took Luedke, and Luedke won the first day or runner-up the second day or whatever the case might be. You always seem to pick that group of guys. Understandably so, because anytime you turn on a stream, Motor Mania most likely is the one that's going to be streaming it. You're going to have the ability to see that Law Chevrolet car, dragster, whatever he's in for the weekend, generally a white dragster, I believe. But yeah, it doesn't matter which one it is, in my opinion, either, Casey. You can't go wrong with either one of those guys. So.
Yeah, man. Old racer in here. Luedke is very underrated. I agree with that 100%, man, because that's another one of those things where there wasn't a lot of big money racing in the Midwest area as far as televised big money racing and things like that. And Luedke, once he started branching out, I mean, he was in Vegas earlier this year. He went pretty deep in Vegas at the Flank. It's anywhere he goes, he's going to do good.
It's hard for me to call him underrated, however. I think the word forgotten about might need to rear its face a little bit more than underrated, because everybody knows when Josh Luedke is in the building. Or Steve Law, I don't care which one it is. Again, you know when that Law Chevrolet backed vehicle is in the race. They're entered in because they're going to make noise. And I don't care what round it is, they're going to make some noise. First, second, third, you're going to see them in the split one of those days in the week. They've just got it, man. So it's hard for me to call it underrated. I think it's just more so forgotten about. He's one of those, I could fly under the radar way down here underneath this desk, and the next thing you know, I hit you in the mouth in the finals and took all the money home. Yeah. That's the type of team that is there. So that's a good point, man. Underrated is not the right phrase for it. It's just forgotten about. People. It's not even forgotten about, because once you see him in the lanes, you remember him. It's just a matter of what makes a household name. Like, because Josh has won all that stuff. You know? Yeah, yeah, and
Josh wins 150 grand or 250 grand a year,
I don't even
seemingly.
I don't think you're asking me a question about what makes a household name right now because you just said it. He's won so much. He's a household name.
Yeah.
It's just weird that he doesn't show up on the big lists. It
He
is.
probably likes it that way.
I would have
Fly
to
under the
have to
radar.
think that he would. It's almost like showing up to a pool hall. You know I'm a pool hall junkie,
Yep.
Casey, and you got you a good old sneaky Pete. Somebody think you got you a old pool cue, you know, the old warped ones. You can't shoot, you can't even look down the thing. One's going that way, the other's going that way. You can't shoot nothing with that. Well, that's the old sneaky Pete looks like that. I'm gonna call old Lukey's nickname, Josh the Sneaky Pete Lukey. That's his new nickname. If I find you, you gotta take it, Josh. You don't have a choice. Yeah. Jag Coughlin Jr. is gonna be at the race, and not just because I'm a Jeggy fan. Not just because I am, he was my pro stock hero there for a while before old Enders came in. I mean, I actually told him that when he was on this show. It is what it is. That's just how it works. When he gets on the horn in that old car, man, I like that, number one. But number two, you're in trouble if you pull up next to that Jeggy car. So he's at home. He's not very far. He ain't gonna be all jet lagged or lagged from the trip to get to Xenia. He's going to be in optimal racing performance condition. And at a familiar track, give me Jeggy number 4, Casey.
Yeah, hard to imagine somebody who's made more runs down the track than Jag Coughlin. You know, I mean, in anything. I mean, dude's been doing it since he was 16 years old and in all kinds of classes. I mean, I think the only person that's even close to him as far as championships won in multiple classes is Biondo.
You know,
and he's won 6.
you know, I bet you now. I'm a man of maybe 1 or 2 tricks behind the wheel of my race car. But I bet you Jag Coughlin's trick list is the front of this page and the back of this page when it comes to going down to that racetrack, what he's going to do to make you think that he's got you. That's the way I see it. He's a sleight of hand type of guy, or sleight of car. I don't know how to explain it, but I'm speaking magician talk. He's magical out there every now and then, and it's the choices that he makes that really get you. It's like, all right, this dude sprayed, then dropped, and then sprayed again. Okay, what the heck is that? I almost let one fly.
You know what Jag's driving style recently has reminded me of, or who it makes me think of, is Kenny Underwood. It really reminds me of a Kenny Underwood driving style.
I think you're right about that.
There with that lightning again, right there.
Oh yeah, and I heard the thunder too. And you're froze just for a second. Hopefully you can still hear me. But
I don't know if you can hear me still. I'm texting you again.
Oh yeah, it's all good. We can hear you. Anyway, I heard the lightning, guys, so I know Casey said it looked like it's going to tornado outside. There's got to be some crazy weather, but that's a good analogy and a good comparison there to put Jeggy and the skinny Kenny Underwood up into the same category. Both of those guys are really, really tricky, and come to the racetrack or into each opponent with something different, probably every single time down the track. So we're gonna give Casey a quick second here, and we can hear Casey, and we just can't see him. There he is. He's coming back on. Here we go.
I got you. Man, every time I'm telling you, there's a huge lightning bolt outside, and it screws my internet up. I guess.
No, man. Hey, I heard the sonic boom on that one. Yeah, I got you loud and clear. I heard that one, so it was like, okay, he's definitely dealing with it.
It even shocked me in my earphones, kind of. So maybe I'll become. What was that? Remember that movie back in the day where the guy got shocked while he was looking at the internet, like when we were kids, when the internet first came out, and all of a sudden he's a genius.
I can't remember it though. I think I know what you're talking about.
But you know what I'm talking about?
I think so.
Yeah,
I think there's more than one movie like that too. For all to be.
Oh, I'm sure there is.
Right.
Anyway,
it's yours.
My number 4. My number 4 is going to be Ken Jones, the carb man himself. Ken Jones performance, dude. Zach is his son, driving his blue Camaro last year at I believe this race.
Yep.
And Zach, I think, was down to like semifinals, letting go like crazy. I think he finally either missed it or red lighted in about semifinals or something. But that car is going to go dead on every single time. And as long as the driver can let go and not make any kind of mistakes going down the track, I think Ken Jones is going to be a threat to win for sure up there. This is his home general area, and I think he's due for one this year, man. He usually always makes some noise at some point in the year, so maybe he's just holding off till now.
You can't go wrong with KJP. Ken Jones he will have a machine out there. It is an excellent choice. I am, as we talked before, Casey, I told you I went into this power ranking with a little bit different of a strategy behind who I took to be in my top 5. And I can now tell you did the same thing. And I saw Ken, and I saw him, and I saw his boy's name up there, and just about pulled the trigger on that one as well, right? Ken Jones definitely going to be somebody to have to deal with. So, coming in at number 5, I don't know what color this car is. This old Nova is. Looks like it's mint green. It could be a minty looking blue. I don't know what to call it. All I know is it looks like it would smell fresh. And when I take Josh Gnat to move, especially at Killcare, right? It's just another one of those names, kind of similar to what I did with Garrett Griffith. If you see these guys in Killcare, you don't want to race them. I don't know if they live close to this place. I don't know if they just like the tree or the new blinders that they put up on the tree or whatever it might be. Maybe they like the girls in the concession stand. I don't know if y'all married or not. I don't know what's going on there. But they come with a different swagger when it comes to Xenia and Killcare Raceway. Give me Josh Gnat. I don't know if that's a Nova or a Chevelle. I don't know what it is, but the son of a gun is clean, and he's tough. Give me Josh Gnat.
Right on, man. I'm going with someone who's been on this show before, and it's going to be somebody I think that most wouldn't think about, I guess, at this point, I would say, but it's another one of those deals where you kind of like what I was talking about with Ludke, you pull up next to him, you're like, oh man, like this is going to be a rough one. And my number 5 is going to be Michael Beard, man. Michael Beard, probably one of the savviest as far as understanding how the car works, what it's going to run, how the weather works, all that data analysis. Michael Beard is by far one of the best at it. He knows how to get back to dead on. Another thing that I think is beneficial for him is that he's in that, I feel like 680, 690 range. And I think there's going to be a lot of dragsters at this particular event because there's a lot of those in the Midwest, those 440 to 460 dragsters. A lot of them are up there. And I just think it's going to be extremely.
Casey getting lightning on again, y'all. Well, I tell you, sometimes it's good to be out here in Texas, but then in the springtime, this could be me going through the tornadic activities there. But definitely understanding where he's coming from. I'll give him a second to get back on the show here. As you can see, he just frozen. Look at him, y'all. Oh, Casey froze on the screen. I know, sorry to my podcasters, you can't be here to enjoy this moment with me, but Casey's old froze on the screen. And good pick though, coming out of Casey, and definitely give him a chance.
I got you.
There he is.
I got your back.
Hold on, here he comes.
Where'd I end up at? Did you get all that?
When you started freezing, I started losing my mind. I was like, dang, here we go again. You're on your 5th pick, and you were moving into why you picked him.
Yeah, so I picked Michael Beard because he's in that 680, 690 range, I feel like. And I think that there's a lot of 440, 460 dragsters up there in that area. And I don't think there's anybody that's savvier about understanding how to get back to dead on or what dead on even is going to be due to the weather changes, due to anything like that, than Michael Beard. And that's going to be why Michael Beard's on my list, man. I think that he's going to be hard to judge. And I think Michael Beard might be running down there showing you he's going about 685 and then turn out to go 690.
Yep.
And I think when he says, I'm holding however many he's holding, I think he knows how to exactly get rid of that. I don't think there's any error in there.
Yeah, I think you're right about that too. It comes down to a science to him, and I think that's why he thrives. He treats it as such. This is a science for me. And he knows on how he stages his car what he's going to lose in reaction time. Because I'm pretty sure he letting go on the bottom as well. So just another great pick. I just got to tell you guys, it's another great pick. Before we get into the honorable mentions there, Casey, let me shout out Scott Lewis. He's asking you, are you coming to Roxborough?
No, man, I actually took my converter out of my car. I'm getting some changes done to it so I can do a little bit better on the foot brake, hopefully. So Holloman's helping me out with that also. It's good to know people who know people.
Right. Got old Drag Racer 4809. KJP is the best carb I've ever bought. Good immediately, just set floats down a little. Yeah, man, and I'll tell you what, it doesn't matter how you look at it. If you need help tuning your machine up or you're getting some issues out of that, Ken Jones can tune one just about better than anybody I know, too. As a matter of fact, better than anybody I know. If you don't know it, there's a KJP on my car currently, and looking at probably moving to Proform pretty soon. Kind of similar to what Casey did, because he said right out the box that old Proform was good. So who knows? I might have old Ken Jones take a look at it, make sure everything is good the way he would set it up for his car, or set my current one up, and go racing. That's just the way it works. So you preaching to the choir right there, Drag Racer 4809. Casey, man, honorable mention time. Honorable mention.
All right, we'll go with me first.
All right.
Considering I might get lightninged out again.
Yeah, you get struck by lightning. Come on.
So my honorable mention for this whole deal, and somebody who I was really having a hard time not putting on the list, was Sugar Shane.
Ooh.
Sugar Shane, man, can drive anything. And especially if he's in that fast dragster that he was in up there at the SFG race in Michigan, where he basically dominated. If there was an MVP award, he by far would have won that. I want to say he was in the dragster final every single night that week. Maybe, I mean, there were like 3 or 5 nights, but I think he might have missed one, but he was in the dragster final, all of them, and then finally won one, I think on Sunday or something like that. Guy can drive anything, drive dragsters, drive door cars. The only question I have is, what's he going to be in? Because somebody's probably ringing Shane's phone, and more than likely, he's trying to decide whose car he's going to drive, which is the better deal to drive versus what am I going to win in, because I think he's capable of winning any of them. Who's going to give him the better deal?
Yeah, it's one of those things too, and again, I hate to say it or beat a drum that I've beaten a few times, but go back to the archives and listen to Shane Carr. He will tell you his car of choice or what he thinks about when going into having to be into that situation. It's going to be a fast dragster, Casey. He told us himself he enjoys the ability to race being the faster dragster. And he's not talking the 450s, the 460s. He's talking the 430s, the 440s. So definitely a great honorable mention. Casey, this has been one heck of a list. I had the same problem as you did when you said 5 in an honorable mention. I could not leave Jeff Serra off the list. Jeff Serra has to make my list in this situation. It was really hard. It's almost like I knew you would take Shane Carr there. I'm serious to you as well. So I didn't take Shane Carr there because I knew you were going to take him. Maybe it's where he fell on the Excel sheet too, kind of the illusion of where it is. It's like, oh shoot, Shane Carr's here. Well, we got to mention Shane Carr. Hey, shoot, I don't know. But give me Jeff Serra here because I'm done.
Yeah, I mean, that's all you really need to say about Jeff Serra, man. I feel like Jeff Serra is definitely due for major domination. Honestly, I mean, it's
been a quiet year for Jeff Serra, in my opinion.
Right. Again,
I could be wrong, and he could be in every single split, but I still think we would know that, Casey, as much drag racing as we watch, you know.
Right.
And so that's why I got Jeff Serra here, and right below that, I called it at the Kill Care race at the Beach Bend race. I had Mia Tedesco on this list. It was very hard for me to keep Mia Tedesco off this list for the exact same reason. It's been a little bit of time since we've seen that name in the winner's circle. So it's coming. It's going to come very soon. I don't know if it's because she's behind the wheel of a door car more frequently now, the 580, 590-ish door car, where it used to be that shorty or that blown car that she just knock your drawers off in. I don't know what the case may be, but it's coming. I don't care which car it is either.
Now that you say Mia Tedesco, somebody who I may have skipped over on the list, but I'm sure if Tedesco's on there, that he'll be on there too, is Jason Lynch.
If he ain't on there, I think Brian messaged me and said if Catfish ain't on there, then he might be entered under somebody else's name, similar to what you said about Luke being a placeholder. Right. So if Mia's there, I'm pretty sure Catfish is there. Bryson Scruggs is probably there as well. So probably. They generally run in that big pack. The old the Fuel Factory team is probably going to be pretty forceful.
I'm sure the Folks will be there. Nick Folk's going to be deep in there, as he always is. Brian Folk's going to be right there with him. I would be very surprised unless Nick's just swamped with, because I know he started his own chassis company now. So I know I want to say that Cummings might actually be ordering dragsters from him. So I know Nick's got a lot of orders in. So maybe he's working. I would be very surprised if he didn't go somewhere that's pretty close to Durand, Illinois.
Right.
So I don't see them missing it, to be honest with you.
Right. Unless they just got something else going on or are too busy, because they may be turning out a few dragsters, especially this close to ahead of the OG Million. I'm pretty sure they're going to have as many cars that they've created at that race to represent as possible. I wish I had one, and I wish I was coming, but things didn't fall my way this year as far as for when it comes to which racing I'm going to go to. So, Casey, man, I just got a message from old BRG. He said he's digging my beard. He didn't talk about you. He talked about mine.
I see how he is. I see how you are, Brian Garrett.
BRG, man. Hit him up if you need anything. And I told you guys a long time ago about those fire extinguisher mounts. So I finally got one, and those bad boys are nice. So don't forget, he's making them. If you don't have what you need for fire safety, he will send you the bracket and the fire extinguisher.
That's true, man, and that's
might as well have it.
Well, it's one of the most important things is fire safety in your race car, man. Everybody thinks a bracket car can't burn to the ground. Well, one of my buddies out here at Kinston the other day had a backfire, and you can't see alcohol burning necessarily. And he came back, and the whole thing was covered. Luckily, at Kinston they had all the fire extinguishers there and got the fire put out. But you never know whenever something's going to happen, and fire's the worst. I actually just saw NC Pro Modder Jay over there, who films all the big dog stuff and everything for free. Check that out if you haven't seen that. And Jay's always out of PDRA, VMP, everywhere. I think he travels everywhere now. He does Northeast Pro Mods and stuff, free feeds all the time. But he posted up Lyle Barnett's helmet. And he said, hey, guys, all you pro mod guys, I've noticed a lot of you guys not having your visor down when you left the starting line, which is a requirement on advanced ET stuff. And asked Lyle Barnett what fire's like and why you want to have your visor down, man. So,
the safety equipment on. Okay, guys, this is, I understand we drive fast. We have fun going quickly. Wear your safety equipment, man. I'll probably wear a pair of Air Jordans in my car because I drive a door car and I don't have to have racing shoes on. But if there hadn't been a hole about that big in the bottom of my pair of racing shoes, then I'll probably be still wearing them. Okay, so I just need to buy another pair and being lazy and ain't done it yet. But Casey, man, let me shout out a couple races because I know we coming up on that 5 o'clock mark. Number one, tune in for the TB races coming up this week. You've already seen that flyer. Number two, I don't know how to race for a 20-40-20, which is now, don't pay attention to the numbers on my flyer here. Pay attention to the date. 50-50-50 for 525. 50-50-50. $525. Did I say that? I said it. Okay, I said it. It's coming to the track at Capital City Motorsports Park, November 9th through the 12th. SFG is putting on what I will call, and brilliantly named, a low-rate bracket race. Okay, so make sure you guys get a chance to catch that out. Now check that out. The Del Pelage Memorial Thanksgiving 10K is coming to a Baton Rouge near you, somewhere in that area, I'm pretty sure. Cody Pelage putting on that race again, hoping to be at that race in some type of capacity, one way, shape, or form. If I get a chance to get out there, it's just going to be a busy end of the season for me, but hope to see you guys there, as well as the Mid-State Lucky Sevens Bracket Series out there at Central Illinois Dragway. There's a couple of those bad boys left, okay? A couple left, and I'll tell you that they have been running well. That free 10 granders coming up quicker than you know it. So try to get out there, get into this race, get you some points accumulated. Maybe you can get into the race. And I just wanted to make sure I shouted out our races before we got out of here, Casey. That 5 o'clock time is coming. The wife's probably pulling into the garage. For me, I bet you smell something good downstairs. Laura's probably cooking up something. I can almost smell it over here. You know what I'm saying? Something smells good. Ain't in my house
man.
yet.
Sorry for all the lightning strikes for anybody. I don't know how that ended up looking. I don't know if it cut my camera out. I don't know what's one here. Hopefully it didn't mess anything up.
I made fun of you a couple times how you was frozen in the stream.
Yeah, well, that wouldn't surprise me, man. I wouldn't expect anything less. But yeah, man, as always, we got to thank all those people who bring this to you live every single Tuesday. Don't miss it. Don't forget to follow the Facebook page, man. We see there's so many of you that watch and don't click that follow button. Please click that follow button so you don't miss a GBR episode. Do the same thing. Click the subscribe button on the YouTube channel. And if you're listening to us, I know a lot of people, man, they like to listen to us over in Australia. I want to say we're like 12 hours different from those guys. And we appreciate them all the way out there in New Zealand, things like that. People even listen to GBR in Africa, man. Right. But yeah, man, thanks to Team 14, Syntex Printing, Driven Racing Oil. Don't forget to use the code GBR10. Get 10% off everything on their website. BRG Motorsports 3D printed parts, Proform parts, Crew Chief Pro software, TSR Racing products, and Ken Jones Performance. Good luck to old Ken Jones out there this weekend, man. Hopefully we see him in the winner's circle over there on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. There went lightning again, George, so I guess we got to get off here.
It didn't glitch you out that time. Good luck to everybody participating out at the races. Thank you, everybody, for stepping in. Keep your eyes open for a Live from the 8th Mile episode. OGBR ain't done one of those yet. We may or may not have some giveaways for that event as well. So stay tuned for more. Thanks for joining in. See you next Tuesday.